A single letter, the letter E. That is all that separates a fine Scotch from a bold American bourbon. Picture yourself scanning a premium spirits menu. One side says whiskey, the other whiskey. You pause, thinking it's a typo. In reality, that tiny character is the border of century-long rivalries, national pride, and hidden craftsmanship. From the smoky highlands of Scotland to the vast cornfields of Kentucky, we're deconstructing why a single letter can split the world of spirits in two. This is Secrets of Simple Things. Let's uncover the mystery behind the world's most debated letter, starting right where the word itself was born. At its core, whether it's whiskey or whiskey, they share the same root, the Gaelic phrase Uisge Beatha, meaning water of life. This isn't just a drink, it's the distillation of centuries of tradition across the rugged lands of Scotland and Ireland. Imagine an amber liquid flowing from ancient copper stills, carrying the soul of the earth and the malted grain. Unlike modern spirits that often carry commercial names, this term began as the tongue-twisting Uisge. Over time, it was refined into whiskey for easier pronunciation, but this evolution also sparked a divorce of identity. One side chose to remain minimalist, while the other added an E as a declaration of pride and an entirely different philosophy of flavor. In the world of spirits, the difference between having and not having the E isn't just about spelling, it's a divorce of identity. While the Scots dropped the E for minimalism across the sea, the Irish kept it as a proud declaration of their craftsmanship. Take Scotch whisky, no E. It was born from rugged cliffs and salty sea air. To the Scots, time itself is an ingredient. They use peat to dry the barley, creating a smoky, bold, and endlessly complex flavor. A glass of Scotch is like a Highland storm, powerful, gritty, yet deeply thoughtful. On the other hand, Irish whiskey, with the E, tells a story of smoothness and finesse. The secret lies in the number 3. While Scotch typically stops at 2 distillations, the Irish go one round further. This third distillation acts like a filter of kindness, stripping away the harshness to create a spirit as smooth as silk, with notes of vanilla and honey. If Scotch is a storm, Irish whiskey is a sunrise, warm, charming, and incredibly approachable. Both began as the water of life, but history took a turn to give us 2 choices, one of fire and smoke, the other of silk and elegance. When the E crossed the Atlantic, it wasn't just preserved, it was infused with a brand new spirit of independence. American distillers didn't try to mimic the ruggedness of Scotland. They set their own rules using local ingredients, corn for bourbon and rye for rye whiskey. The fundamental difference lies in the new charred oak barrels. By law, bourbon must be crafted from at least 51% corn and aged exclusively in these fresh casks. This intense interaction with the charred wood is what creates that deep amber color and the rich signature notes of caramel, vanilla, and oak. However, the peak of smoothness is found in Tennessee whiskey through the Lincoln County process. This distinctive step involves filtering the spirit through a thick layer of sugar maple charcoal before it even touches the barrel. It acts as a final polishing stage, stripping away harsh edges to leave an exceptionally smooth finish. Compared to its classic European cousins, American whiskey is much like the country itself, bold, open, and full of energy. No story of whiskey is complete without a nod to Canada. Since the early 1800s, Scottish and Irish distillers brought their craft across the Atlantic to the New World. They blended Old World traditions with the vast grain abundance of this land to create a whiskey, no E, that stands entirely on its own. Canada's identity is built on smoothness. While names like 40 Creek and Crown Royal have earned global fame, their secret isn't smoke or intensity, it's blending. By mixing rye, corn, and wheat and letting Canada's extreme temperature swings do the rest, they force the spirit to interact deeply with the oak for at least 3 years. The result is a gentle spice with an incredibly soft finish. Canada proves one truth. In a world of bold flavors, it's often the quietest, most refined spirits that speak the loudest. While the West views whiskey as an explosion of flavor, on the other side of the world, the Japanese see it as a quest for absolute balance. Since the early 20th century, they didn't just bring Scottish techniques home, they brought a mindset, the precision of a master craftsman. Instead of retaining rugged edges, Japanese whiskey, no E, is molded with the discipline of a tea ceremony. The result is a spirit that doesn't shout for attention, but wins you over with elegance, floral notes, and flavors calculated to the exact millimeter. When you savor it neat, you aren't just drinking. You're experiencing a symphony of silence. Japan proves one truth. Real power doesn't always come from intensity. It comes from absolute subtlety and meticulous precision. Enjoying whiskey, with or without the E, is an invitation to slow down. It's not a race of alcohol content, it's a respect for the time and craftsmanship hidden behind the glass. It all starts with the vessel. A tulip-shaped glass, Glencairn, with a narrow rim concentrates the aroma, while the bowl allows the spirit to breathe. Before your first sip, observe the color. Golden glimmers, deep amber or bronze are all codes telling the story of age and the casks it once inhabited. Then, inhale gently. Don't rush. Let the notes of vanilla, peat smoke, or oak tell their own tale. When you taste, let the spirit rest on your tongue. Notice the transformation from heat to sweetness, and finally, the lingering depth. A drop of water at this moment can be the key to unlocking hidden layers of flavor. Finally, savor the finish, that warm echo that remains long after the sip. Ultimately, distinguishing whiskey from whiskey isn't just about spelling. It's about whether you are quiet enough to hear the story of time, place, and passion held in the palm of your hand. I want to give you a 10-second rule. When you hold this bottle, don't just look at the brand. Look at the letter that defines its identity. Spend the first 10 seconds checking for the letter E. If the label says whiskey, no E, you are facing the ruggedness of Scotland or the precision of Japan. It is a promise of peat smoke and a dry finish. But if the E appears, whiskey, prepare for the smoothness of Ireland or the bold caramel sweetness from new American oak barrels. Second, watch the color. 10 seconds of observing the amber hues in your glass will reveal the time spent inside. The deeper the color, the greater the interaction with the wood, and the more complex the flavor. In those 10 seconds, you aren't just looking at a drink, you're decoding a cultural passport. If you only drink to get buzzed, it's just alcohol. But if you pause for 10 seconds to read the E and admire the hue, you are truly touching the water of life. So, should you choose a whiskey with a proud E or a classic whiskey that drops it entirely? It all depends on what you value. The smoky, rugged tradition of Scotland, the discipline and precision of Japan, or the smooth, bold warmth of the New World. That single letter isn't just a spelling preference, it's a filter for culture and pride that distillers have guarded for centuries. Ultimately, even the simplest things can have the deepest roots. A name isn't just a label, it's a story of origin, passion, and a legacy distilled into every drop of amber spirit. If you enjoyed this story, tell us in the comments what simple thing we should explore next. Your idea might become our next episode. This is QC Project Simple Things. Thank you for watching. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the simple things in everyday life. Because what you see is never the whole story. There's always something deeper beneath the surface. See you in the next one.